Welcome to your lecture on social media analysis. This lecture is a part of your paper on the communication research. In this lecture, you will learn about the harvesting and analysis of data from social networks like Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. It is a totally automated process. The idea is to see the data through new paradigm of uh, public's perception. This is a crowdsourced data, and this data can reveal many meaningful patterns and users' perceptions. Very few research studies have been done on the user perception. So, social networks they give you a very good opportunity with their data. So, social media unarguably is referred to as people's media. We are all witness to the users' instant reactions on some national issues on Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, SMS, etc. And recently a few mainstream media like TV and newspapers and the radio have started devoting special space or airtime to showcase a select few posts or comments from social media. It shows the growing importance of the social media in the traditional media itself. So, mass media traditionally was bereft of the public's feedback, but the social media proved to be a game changer in this. Hence, a systematic, scientific, and machine enabled research is the need of the hour. And this data is very interesting, and very few researchers know how to extract and analyze this data. So, it gives you an edge over other people. Social media is defined as a group of internet based applications that build on the ideological and technological foundations of Web 2, and that allow the creation and exchange of user generated content. So, both the definition they have been adopted from Kaplan and Heinlein in 2010. It may be regarded as the fifth pillar of the constitution, media being the fourth pillar, and this social media is the cradle of citizen journalism also. Many researchers believe that social media is characterized by creation and propagation of user generated material, uh, seamless interactivity, immediacy through electronic word of mouth, and this was given by Metic and Capoulos in 2012. This is a very relevant definition of social media. The crowdsourced information lying in the servers of these public networks, which serves as researchers' gold mine, such as measuring the image correction on Twitter by Narendra Modi, estimating the political orientation in polls, forecasting diseases, predicting the company's sales, stock price forecasting, etc. So, it is applicable across the board in many situations and many areas. Similarly, the data, that is the comments, posts, likes, dislikes, view count, etc., available on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, is of multi-dimensional nature and utility. It is not a single dimension data, and it reveals many hidden patterns. And social media is arguably the most important organ of public participation and engagement, which has been invented in the 21st century after the World Wide Web. So, there is no doubt about that. It has changed the people, it has changed the polity, it has changed the society, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. But you cannot reject it anyway. Facebook data analysis we would start with. Facebook, if it were the nation, would have been the biggest planet on the earth. It comprises of personalized Facebook page, posts, likes, comments, photos and videos. This rich data can be harvested by researchers for insights. Biggest issues in the social media data harvesting pertains to the digital skills, that is the technical knowledge, price issues and the limitation of the freewares, that is free softwares and multi-dimensional treatment with the data. These are all the limitations, or you can call the opportunities. We would employ the free software which is known as Face Pager, which can be downloaded from the internet, and as you can see in the image, it is explained very well. This is, I think right now it's the only freeware available as far as downloading the the Facebook data is concerned. After installing the Face Pager, click the new database as shown in the arrow of the image, then click add nodes, copy the ID from the Facebook, for example www.facebook.com/Mr. Bean. Here Mr. Bean is the ID. So insert this ID in the nodes section of the Face Pager as shown below, and multiple IDs can also be inserted at once, one ID per line. Now go to the source and select the user posts. Afterwards, get the access token from the Facebook by logging in your account. Now this access token is very important in all the social media data harvesting. Access token is a security identifier from your side, and social networking sites are quite careful as who is using their data. So you have to be an authenticated person, and there is a limit to the data harvested. Normally it ranges from 1 lakh posts per day, which is sufficient for you, and there is a limit in the 24 hours span time, but this much data is sufficient for a good research study. And assuming that the access token is retrieved and entered in the Facebook, then you will click the fetch data and the posts would be retrieved. Now you can go further by retrieving the comments on these posts. When the node is expanded, node means one post, it is expanded downwards, the data is visible as shown in the picture. It's very simple. You select the option like user posts, user comments, photo comments, video comments, etc. Once sufficient data is collected, then you select it by shift plus click and then click export data. The data would be exported to the CSV format, which can be converted into Excel format using any good free website, and the data can be analyzed by converting into the text file in the UTF-8 format and analyzed in the corpus analysis software, which we discussed in the previous presentation. And Conc is the software. Face Pager, it can't gather the data beyond Facebook IDs. It has got certain limitations. But these days companies, governments and individuals, they have their own individual Facebook pages, which are like personal domain for reaching out to the world at a single click. For collecting data in the same manner as done before, like we did in FacePager. So another free tool has to be tried. Now here there is a disclaimer that there is no one standard choice of software selection for data retrieval. As you know that the things keep on changing in the online world, and new online softwares may come for free which are more better than the FacePager. Hence, for collecting data from Facebook pages, a new non-programming exercise need to be performed, and it would bring each Facebook post's number of likes, shares, comments, the number of Facebook reactions. Reactions are in the form of like, love, wow, haha, sad, angry, and comments and Facebook IDs of the users who commented, shared, or liked the post. So, some privacy issues apply here. You can use the link as shown in the image, and you can click it. You can enter the Facebook page address and harvest the posts as shown in the image, and you will be able to retrieve some kind of data from Facebook. And let me share with you that all these 4 principles on digital media research methods, they need to be seen as a package for analysis of this social media data also, because once we collect the data in Facebook, it has to be analyzed in the corpus method, for which the digital data analysis methods should be known to you. So, for collecting data from Facebook, Google Power searching commands, they have to be learned, and many similar stuff. The above mentioned methods have a few limitations also. As I told you, first there is a limit to the quantum of data extraction as per the API limit, but still it is sufficient. Yeah, 1 lakh Facebook posts in 24 hours. The common restrictions associated with freebies apply here also. And second, the above freewares, they can collect the data as it is from a Facebook ID or page, which means you can't collect data as per your own choice of words or query. For example, harvesting all the Facebook posts or comments which contain the word demonetization, it is not possible with these freebies. To overcome this problem, Google Power searching commands, they would have to be employed. Like if you enter the command in Google site facebook.com space demonetization or demonetization, spelling is different, sorry, the N is missing in the second spelling, but this is the command. It's a powerful method which brings 1,53,000 results on this day of recording. So, you can go to individual Facebook posts and collect the matter yourself, but that is a manual process and very cumbersome also. So, the number of posts can be randomized and content saved manually or by using Google Chrome extension, that is link clump. We just discussed in the last presentation about the link clump. It sorts out all the headlines, and this would harvest the data as per the headlines of the Facebook posts and the corresponding URLs as shown in the table. So, at least some kind of your control on the data is there. So, we have discussed 2 methods where standard ready-made data is given to you, and in the second you can ask for the data in your formats. So, the later the URLs can be opened separately in the browsers, and contents, they can be copied and pasted and analyzed. For that you need the corpus method of analysis. We are going to discuss another automated method, which is to open the content of these URLs all at once by pasting in www.voyant.com. The URLs fed in the website would give the social media analysis of Facebook as shown on the screen. So, you do not have to do anything, just copy the URLs of the Facebook posts and enter into the website and press enter. The corpus of the Facebook post or comments being searched this way present multiple styles of data analysis and interpretation, both visual as well as in the text form. Moreover, Facebook data in Hindi, Punjabi and other regional languages can be collected and analyzed easily. So, do not forget this website voyant.com. The site even generates an interaction of selected terms, for example, demonetization or BJP with the other words in the bubble form. So, demonetization or BJP has a few links to the other words and graphic representation can be shown as in the image. The links between the objects show a dynamic interaction between the two terms and we call them as actors in the social media data. The width of the thread indicates the type of connection. If the width is more, then it is a strong connection. If the width of the connection is thin, that it is a thin connection. Another deep insightful way of looking at social media data is the downloading of your own Facebook data as GDF file and open in the Gephi. Gephi is the open source software which can be downloaded freely and it recognizes the GDF file and your interaction with your friends would be presented to you in a network form as shown in the image. The circles depicted the nodes and the arrows between them show the interaction between the nodes. Here the nodes means the people. The interaction in the form of arrows is shown between the two people, that is the nodes. The direction of the arrows indicate the direction of the communication from A to B node or vice versa. So, there may not be a single arrow between two or more nodes, which means that these two people they have never interacted, though they are well within your network of the people. And meaning thereby no communication between these group of nodes, people or the people individually. So, Gephi is the open source and free software which can map the interaction between people on the Facebook and other networks, but its limitation is that it can only analyze your own network and issues related to the privacy, permission and law emerge while analyzing other people's or organizations networks. So, you can analyze only your network because you have to enter your own ID and password, not the other person's ID and password. So, privacy issues they come up here. The social network analysis is the mapping and measuring of relationships and flows between people, groups, organizations, computers or other information knowledge processing entities. So, this definition was given by Valdez Curbs in 2002. The social network analysis we called SNA is a method for visualizing our people and connection power, leading us to identify how we can best interact to share the knowledge within these networks. So, Gephi can analyze the non Facebook network data sets also It has many more features like measuring strength of the connection, identification of community in the network, ways to spread the message quickly in a network, etc. With the new technological developments, ready-made network data sets of uh, Facebook interactions, Twitter interactions, worldwide communication patterns of emails and the like may be available soon in the public domain, which enrich our insight into the social media analysis through social network analysis. A Google power search may reveal a few of them already available for free download and distribution. So, Stanford University has created a few open network data sets which are available freely at their website snap.stanford.edu. So, this was slightly different offshoot of social media analysis, which we call as social network analysis. We come to our own social media analysis topic by discussing about the YouTube comments. As you can see, the website that is ytcomments.closterma.nn.ca, you can enter the videos URL of the YouTube and the result can be downloaded as CSV files and can be further analyzed as corpus data in AntConc. By pasting the text in the beta.voyant-tools.org to generate instant analysis of textual properties. So, you can see the image, so you do not have to do anything, just go to the comments URL and enter in the YouTube comment website and harvest the URL, the comments in the CSV format. However, for a more detailed YouTube data analysis, a freeware from the link given below in lexi.url.wlv.ac.uk/searcher can be found. This is Webometrics analysis. It can be downloaded. It is the free software from the University of Wolverhampton, UK. This software from the Wolverhampton has extensive functions of data extraction at very deep level from Twitter, YouTube and the World Wide Web, etc. Before starting, we need to get the Azure YouTube data API key as shown in the image. For rest of the data harvesting from Twitter, we do not need the Azure key. We can collect the YouTube data in many forms. For example, collecting the videos on a particular query and video IDs of the video. After this, a whole bunch of video IDs are collected which are of similar nature. For example, MOOC, elections, demonetization, etc. Now, this function will collect all the video IDs which are similar in nature, so that the analysis is coherent. So, these video IDs are listed in a notepad file and then we can press the get YouTube comments for the list of video IDs buttons as shown in the image. So, it would collect the comments from the multiple IDs at once. Simultaneously it can do that. Previous website could not do that because of the limitation, but this is a very advanced software. So, first of all, create a simple notepad file with the query Obama and Trump, and is a Boolean operator, it has to be in the capital letters. It will harvest the tweets which have the words Obama and Trump in the tweets, and you upload that. It can be Obama or Trump, or is in the capital letters again. So tweets which have the either the word Obama or Trump would be harvested. Now the tweets can be extracted from a particular handle also. For example, from Hindustan Times. Now Hindustan Times is the Twitter handle, means Twitter address of the newspaper Hindustan Times. So it will retrieve all the tweets from Hindustan Times. So these kind of methods are available. The flexibility in tweets extraction is that the software can simultaneously search all the above query forms at one go. For tweets extractions, you need to have account on Twitter, and the app would request the Twitter on your behalf for authentication. That is, you will have to get a PIN number in order to access the Twitter database. Again, that is API, and you don't have to do anything. The Webometric software or the app will do it for you. You just press next, next, etc. After the permission is granted and you share that PIN number with the app, the extraction starts. Webometric can collect random tweets being done at any particular time. For example, you want to search the Twitter database for latest tweets on any topic, you can do that. That is a separate form of analysis. The tweets are collected in the text file, and the data is copied and pasted in Excel, and the message part of the tweet is sorted along with its retweets, username, etc. Not all the stuff in the harvested tweets is required, but only the message heading is required. So this data can be analyzed according to the research objectives in the corpus software or that beta.voyant-tools.org as discussed. It would be better if you learn AntCock as discussed in the earlier presentations. That will give a complete command over the text. And a few things have to be noted, that Twitter allows only 7 to 10 days old tweets by freewares, and for older tweets you may have to pay. So this is the constraint. And data extraction from Facebook is more challenging than YouTube and Twitter because of many internal software issues with the Facebook. Every type of social media analysis has to be done in any external text analysis softwares, that is the corpus software or specialized softwares like Mosday is only applicable for the Twitter. A random search on Google would show many websites which can analyze Twitter data for trending hashtags, Twitter statistics, sentiment of any person or product on Twitter, etc. But most of them do it with a very small sample of tweets, and the paid softwares provide really exhaustive and deep analysis. So this is a slight limitation on our part. For collecting older tweets, Google power searching commands, they can be used and can be applied just like the one applied in case of Facebook, and you will get the old tweets and you can harvest them as per their headings. Not all data would be there, but you see if it serves your purpose. This way the old tweets can be retrieved free of cost, but they are slightly difficult to harvest because of their format. For an extensively deep analysis, the tweets collected in the notepad file have to be converted into the Mosday format. The Mosday is another software from the Wolverhampton University, of course, the free of cost. It is a free Twitter time series analysis software. It can only harvest and analyze the tweets, nothing else. It can be downloaded from the website as shown in the image, and it is the best freeware available till date. And it can analyze the data in terms of gender differences, sentiments, time series graphs, that is over an extended period of time, word frequency, co-word comparison analysis, etc. So this is really cool stuff, and you don't have to do anything, just enter your query and get the desired output, which can be exported in the Excel format, and you can interpret at per your own convenience. Now there are some ethical guidelines in the social media research. Since network data is people's data, and hence a researcher must deal with this very carefully. One of the biggest areas of concern with social media data is the extent to whether such data should be considered public or private data. This was outlined by Townsend and Wallace. This seems to be a fairly good proposition, because the data is public, still it is private, so there is no distinction in that. The process of evaluating the research ethics cannot be ignored simply because the data are seemingly public. Boyd and Crawford in 2012, they outlined this. Questions of whether online postings are public or private are determined to some extent by the online setting itself, and whether there is a reasonable expectation of privacy on behalf of the social media user. It was outlined by British Psychological Society in 2013. Though the data is shared publicly on networks for general viewing, but it is always advisable to mask the identity of the user of their IDs for the loss of reputation, motive attribution, and public shame. So data is public, still it is private, and all the ethical guidelines apply here. Hence social media analysis tend to compromise with the anonymity of the users. Some of the guidelines, they pertain to the common sense, and some of them are really relevant for the social media analysis. The same is well guarded in the traditional method of research. The anonymity is ensured in the traditional method of research, but not in the social media analysis. So you have to be very careful about that. Exposing the identity may result into embarrassment and even prosecution. And though the data is public, but it is to be treated as private. Data belonging to the vulnerable sections of the society like children, women, and minorities warrant accepted. If during the process of reporting the results or referring to any individual post, the researcher should think about either paraphrasing the same or removing the user ID, or both. Alongside, the researcher must keep in mind the legal issues and the terms and conditions of data extraction. The APIs give you the right terms and conditions of the data extraction, and you automatically agrees to that. The data extraction must be in accordance with the institutional ethical guidelines, funding agencies policies, and data policies of the land. So these are very crucial issues, and sometimes we are not able to see the nuances of the data extraction, so it may help. According to the Association of Internet Researchers, no set of internet research guidelines can be static, because technologies and the way the technologies are used, these are constantly changing. Everything is dynamic, so new paradigms would keep on evolving, and most of the paradigms, they appeal to the common sense. Hence, the researcher, being the custodian of public's data, is the trustee too. In the end, while finally concluding, I hope that at the end of this lecture you are well acquainted with the social media analysis techniques. I hope this lecture has been useful and helpful in learning various fun laden and innovative techniques of analyzing social media data. And for more details, you can read the module on this lecture carefully and attempt the questions in the end, and read all the chapters of digital media research methods, 4 chapters, and the presentations, because they must be treated as the complete package to understand every individual lecture. Thank you.